Welcome to my very new channel. My name is Brittany, and I'm an artist and a rather voracious spiritual seeker. I wanted to start out this video by reading something I came across recently, posted by a man I follow on Instagram. His name is John Rodell, and these were his words. Become wildly kind to everyone, and I know how heavy the word everyone is right now. My love, we can't control much down here, but we can still control how we treat others. In these breaking news, heartbreaking times, when nothing feels certain, let our raw kindness be a certainty. Allow our compassion to become a North Star stamped up in the sky for others to follow back home. He captioned these words with, I am angry today, but rage is a wheel I don't want to keep turning. I'm tired of being moved by the war machine. I have to find a new way, or I will become the very thing I'm against. He continues with, I realize this isn't a prescription for everyone. It has to be for me, though, or this rage I feel will transform me into a creature I no longer recognize. His words resonated deeply with me. The day I found them was the same day I was to present my first ever service at the Unitarian Universalist church that I've been attending for some time. And it just so happened that his words rather perfectly encompassed the heart of the talk that I was to be presenting that day. And today I was thinking I would share the same talk that I presented to my church to you guys. I thought I would share it with you guys. And you can watch my newest painting unfold as I talk. And just real quick, I'm new to YouTube. I've only posted here once before, and I would like to continue to share things of this nature. So if you are interested in spirituality, philosophy, and art and writing as a doorway into both personal and collective healing, I invite you to subscribe. And you can hit the notification bell so you'll know when I post things like this in the future. And I'm a toddler mom, so my schedule's a little sporadic, but I do want to start posting here more often and putting my energy into it. So I just want to see if people are even interested in that. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So with all that said, let's go ahead and get started. Today I would like to explore a question with you all. And that question is, what if the peace we're seeking is not somewhere else? What if it is already here, waiting to be noticed? As Marcel Proust said in his book, In Search of Lost Time, the real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. Across our lives, we're given many stories about what this world is and what we're meant to do in it. Some of those stories teach us, directly or subtly, that this life is something to endure, escape, transcend, or get through on the way to something better. But today, I want to explore a different possibility. Instead of asking how we leave this world, what if we ask how we enter it more fully? Instead of escape, what if the invitation is immersion? Rather than theology or doctrine, this reflection is about perception and about presence. It's about what shifts inside of us when we stop treating our lives as a waiting room and start experiencing them as something we're meant to inhabit. Together, I'd like to explore how several wisdom traditions, alongside our own lived experience, point towards the same insight, that meaning is not found by leaving life behind, but by learning how to be awake within it. Across so many belief systems, ancient, modern, religious, spiritual, even scientific, there's this repeating idea that this world is the lesser realm, that life here is essentially the waiting room, the test, the purgatory, the simulation, the fallen world. There are many versions of the same idea, that the real world, the perfect one, exists somewhere else out there. And I get it. Life can hurt. It can be overwhelming. We see so much pain and turmoil around us, and we experience it in our own lives. So of course the idea of escape feels appealing. Of course we look towards the sky or towards some better dimension and think maybe that's where the peace is. I grew up around a lot of doomsday language, the end times, the rapture, all of it. It really shaped the way I thought about everything. It made the future feel irrelevant. Why dream long term when the world might end at any moment? Why immerse yourself in your life when you're told you're supposed to be preparing to leave it? As an adult, I wandered through many other belief systems, hoping to find something different. I honestly didn't realize at the time what it was I was looking for exactly, but I had a sense that the belief system I'd been raised in was missing the point somehow, and I was determined to figure out what it was that it was missing. But even as I explored countless other traditions and beliefs, I kept finding myself arriving at the same core message. It was different words, different imagery, but the same repeating mindset. This world isn't the real one. There's a better world, and we must escape this one to get to that one. Eventually, something inside of me started to rebel. I felt a longing for a deeper truth. I felt I still had to be missing something. This longing for something deeper would eventually lead me into studying spiritual esotericism. Years ago, I discovered and fell in love with Sufism, which is the esoteric side of Islam. From there, I was amazed to find that pretty much every belief system I'd previously studied had an esoteric side to it as well that I could explore. And explore I did, ravenously. After years of this exploration, I finally feel I've come to recognize a new repeating pattern throughout these various belief systems. Instead of this notion of escape that I'd grown so weary of, this new pattern seemed to revolve around something totally different. In the mystical, esoteric core of all of these traditions, the message is not escape, it is perception. In Christian mysticism, Jesus says the kingdom of heaven is within you. In Buddhism, the Buddha says the entire world is found within the human body and mind. Zen sharpens this even further with the statement, if you can't find the truth where you are, where else will you look? In Sufism, paradise is the state of a purified heart, while hell is a state of perceived separation. In Vedanta, the divine is everything. The illusion is the belief in being separate from everything. I think the most difficult part of this realization, at least for me, is the idea of seeing heaven in everything. It's easy to see the divine in the dramatically beautiful moments, like a mountaintop view or a kind stranger. But what about the laundry, the dishes, and what about the people and experiences we have trouble seeing any good in? If the divine is truly to be found in everything, that means it is hiding there too, quietly glowing behind the ordinary and even behind the distasteful. I think a good entry point is to start with trying to see the divine in our everyday mundane experiences, but the harder part is seeing the divine in the places where we don't just overlook the sacred, but we actively resist it. This is truly where perception becomes a practice. There's a meditation practice that I often turn to when my heart feels closed. I don't remember where I learned this from, but it's a practice that I'm grateful for, especially with the state of the world being the way it is now. It's simple, but it's not easy. I imagine someone I dislike, or even someone I see as an enemy, not as they appear to me now, but as they once were, a small child. I try to really see them that way, to remember that they too once laughed freely, once needed comfort, and once trusted someone to keep them safe. That child still exists somewhere within them, just as it does within all of us. In some people, it's buried much deeper. In some, it is protected behind layers of fear, harm, or pain. I feel it's important to state that this practice does not excuse behavior. It does not deny harm. It doesn't require agreement or closeness. What it does do is it softens your heart just enough to let perception change. And in that softening, something remarkable often happens. The divine becomes visible again. It reveals itself as presence rather than approval. When it comes to both the mundane and the profane, it's natural that we struggle to perceive the sacred. Sometimes we miss it simply because it's everywhere. Our routines, our chores, our daily interactions, they surround us so completely that we stop noticing what we're immersed in. It's like a fish in water. The fish doesn't notice the water because it has always been there. But take the fish out of the water and suddenly the miracle becomes obvious. Perhaps heaven is like that. If that's the case, then escaping the water isn't the point. The invitation is to recognize that we are already immersed and to practice seeing more deeply. So how do we live this practically? How do we let ourselves perceive heaven as right there, even when life is ordinary or painful? It's a tall order, and it may not always come easily. Immersion is a choice, a practice, a way of being. It's a call to be more present and to consciously take notice of our life in all of its glorious and heart-wrenching detail. And it's not effortless, especially with the way our brains work in the modern world. There's a moment many of us recognize, even if we don't have language for it. It's the moment when we realize we've been somewhere else while our life was happening. We were physically present, but inwardly guarded, distracted, braced, moving through our days with our attention split. One part of us here, the other already reaching for what's next, what's easier, what's safer, or what's numbing. This is not a personal failure. It's a deeply human response to overwhelm. When the world feels loud, uncertain, or painful, the instinct to retreat inward or elsewhere makes sense. Escape can be subtle. Sometimes it looks like busyness, overthinking, or even like spiritual striving, trying to rise above life instead of meeting it. But immersion doesn't ask us to force ourselves into presence. It begins much more gently. It begins the moment we loosen our grip just a little on the need to control, analyze, or defend ourselves from experience. It's the moment when awareness softens instead of hardens, when attention returns as curiosity rather than vigilance. Immersion is the quiet shift from resistance to allowing ourselves to accept and feel the present moment as it is. And often that shift begins in the body, in the breath, in the heart, in the simple realization that we are allowed to be here, even in uncertainty and even in the messiness of our humanity. That is the doorway between escape and presence, and it's one we will find ourselves stepping through continually. This practice can start simply. It can begin with noticing the warmth of a sip of tea, breathing before you answer a text, or it could be really listening to someone you love, or maybe even someone you honestly can't stand. Tiny things, small doorways, moments of re-entry. As we cultivate more of these moments throughout our day, we will begin to realize just how much of our life we were missing. We will find ourselves wanting to get better at being present, because what's the point of life if we aren't even here for it? I think much of what changes the world begins quietly with us. A single moment of presence, a softened response, a pause where there used to be a reflex. These moments don't announce themselves, but they do travel. They ripple outward through our lives and into the lives of others, shaping the tone of the spaces that we share. In that way, the smallest acts of awareness are never just personal. They become part of the collective atmosphere that we breathe together. As we move towards the close of this reflection, I want to leave you with a permission. You don't need to ascend, escape, or become someone else to belong more fully to your life. You don't need to master presence. You don't need to reach enlightenment. You only need moments of remembering that you are immersed. An immersion doesn't mean that life suddenly becomes easy or painless. It means that we stop abandoning ourselves while we move through it. And when we choose, even briefly, to be here with our lives, a subtle but profound shift happens. Meaning stops feeling distant, connection stops feeling abstract, and this world, imperfect and unfinished as it is, begins to feel more alive. I invite you to take one small moment today to notice the heaven that surrounds you. Take a breath, allow your heart to soften just a bit. Let yourself be open to the possibility that the divine is peering at you from behind every single thing that you're seeing. Let that small moment remind you that you are not waiting for some better world or for some future feeling of peace. You are already immersed in that peace. To close out this video, I'd love to leave you with a beautiful poem written by my best friend. Her name is Tyra, and she's a beautiful poet. She wrote this after reading everything I've shared with you today, while sitting in a graveyard one early morning near her home. I don't think she's titled it yet, but she did say that I could share it, so. Okay. Who can hear the sounds made here from some long past year? Close your eyes, maybe less faint, softly, a little clearer. You'll feel it all, everything, everywhere, nothing, nowhere, the oneness which contains all time. Who listens for those noises born of life? Some are hearing, eyes closed, feeling a moment in creation. You may not see them, but you may feel them. Another passing light, a marble rolled along sky. You and they made of the same echoing, the everything, the everywhere, the nothing, and the nowhere. Oh, for these long years we may get to live, are just speckled flecks of dust, floating on a still and new Sunday morning, near a sunlit window swirling, tracing the quiet currents, born, lost, fragile, robust, all of everything. What we'd give to feel it all again, once we return from this little life, back to the everything otherwise, back to where there are no other sides. So yeah, I just think that's a beautiful poem, and she has such a way with words. Anyway, I would love it if you liked this video, if you would like it, and subscribe if you want to see more. And yeah, I hope to be posting more stuff like this in the future. I gotta get some more painting time lapses. I think I have a few that I could use. So yeah, anyway, I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.
Breathe in. 1, 2, 3. And breathing out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just let your breath return to a natural rhythm now.